Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the albums and songs of the year series. If we're calling it that. I guess we are. And
Thing to call it. And
yeah. I mean, it is what we're doing. Now we are doing our favorite songs of 1968. We are recording directly after albums of '68, but you will see a week later. Last Saturday, you will have seen favorite albums of 1968. Next Saturday will be favorite albums of 1969. Um,
what about our six? Oh, never mind. I was going to say, what about our
Not
60s list?
yet.
Apparently, I was skipping 1959.
well, as best, there is a 60s recap coming after 1969, but that's.
Hey Tom, what about 1970? Could we just
Do you want to just skip there? Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so we're doing our songs. We're going to do the same order: me, Chris, then Vanessa. Ooh, again, I'm probably going to be the most positive, but that's okay. I'm happy with that burden. Um, I have 5 honorable mentions. I wanted to have 7, but I've got it down to 5 because I didn't want to go on all day. So what have I got? Van Morrison, first time he's come up. The Way Young Lovers Do. I'm actually a pretty massive Van Morrison fan, but Astral Weeks is like my 4th favorite Van Morrison album, so didn't really get into contention for albums. But The Way Young Lovers Do is a banger. I Put a Spell on You by Credence Clearwater Revival as well, which is my favorite version of that song. I love Fogerty's vocal, and it's one of the best guitar songs of the year for sure. I got Vanessa's gonna love me for this one. Merle Haggard and the Strangers with Mama Tried, one of the greatest country songs of all time. Absolutely. Great acoustic guitar, awesome song. Number 12 was actually my number 9, and then re-listening to all these batch of songs just dropped out my list. Picture Book by the Kinks, Scooby Dooby Doo, etc. And then I've also got, just missing out, the Monkees had a pretty good year, low key. Daydream Believer was great, Porpoise Song was great, but I've gone for I'll Be Back Upon My Feet. Just missing out my list, which is a nice little deep cuts. My number 10, Aretha. What a great year she had. We've mentioned it before. She released 2 fantastic albums. And the song I've gone for is from my favorite of the 2 albums. Is I Say a Little Prayer from Aretha Now, one of her more well-regarded songs. It's my favorite song of hers for sure. Love the song itself. The songwriting is great. The mellow arrangement is brilliant. So I love how sort of light the arrangement is, but her vocal is so powerful. So at points it feels intense, but you still got these like brush drums and light instrumentation. But her voice is making it more than what it is, you know. All time a soul track, so much swagger, so cool. Number 9, keeping in the same kind of realm, got the Impressions with the title track from their album This Is My Country, which I believe is the closing track. I'm pretty sure it is. Way ahead of its time in its lyrics. It's kind of doing, well, this is a lot of, Curtis Mayfield was doing that sort of political soul pretty early compared to people like Marvin Gaye. It's got the cool horns and some great do-do-dos, which I always love. And it's a very loving song. You know, there's the line, shall we perish unjust or live equal as a nation? Very good question. And I think there is a right answer to that question, but obviously doesn't always work out that way. So definitely check that song out if you haven't. It's a real gem. Number 8, the Turtles with Elenore. Gee, I think you're swell. Endlessly melodic 60s pop. That chorus just pops out every time. So front and center and powerful. Almost Four Tops-esque, if I could say that, in the way it just sort of bursts out. I've written this weird note. Perfect movie trailer music, although I'm not sure if it's ever been used in a movie trailer. So take that for what it is. My number 7 is from the Byrds. They had so many great songs this year. I could have gone for I'm a Pilgrim. I could have gone for You Ain't Going Nowhere. I could have gone with Get to You. But I've gone for Wasn't Born to Follow, which has for a long time been my favorite Byrds song. Love the Goffin King songwriting. Playing is magnificent. It's so sort of psychedelic and dreamy. The harmonies are a highlight as always. There's like that really cool middle section that like phases in and out. Really awesome. Just an infectious song. It's like 2 minutes. Chuck it on whenever. Really love it. Number 6, Simon and Garfunkel with America. What a beautiful song. Some of his best lyrics, no doubt about it. It manages to be playful, wistful, nostalgic, melancholic, pessimistic, and optimistic all at once. Which it encompasses so many feelings throughout this 3-minute song. And that ending chorus is so cathartic where him and Art are just belting it. It's amazing. And it sucks that I could only put it at number 6 because my number 5 is slightly better. The Zombies with Care of Cell 44. Even when I didn't love this album, I knew this song was special. I love how it just crashes straight in. It doesn't waste any time, that little cool keyboard riff, and then Colin just comes straight in. Vocals are so perfect. He sounds so just breathy and amazing. Love the bouncing keys, and again, Vanessa sort of alluded to it in the album's video. The concept behind the song is genius. A love song to someone in prison. It's really cool. A pretty cool bass line too. Number 4 is a non-album single. Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding. It had been ages since I heard this one, but I had like all these lists for every year drafted up already. So I just kind of go back to them and then reassess. And this, I was like, I haven't heard this song in so long, and it still stood up like the first time I heard it as a sentimental attachment for me. His vocal is so delicate on this. The playing is excellent. There's a really cool guitar line that comes in and out. It's like water sound effects. Just, to me, his best song. Love it. Number 3, might surprise you both, is Everybody's Talking by Harry Nilsson, which is my favorite Harry Nilsson song. But this year has 3 of probably my top 20 songs of all time. So I kind of had to just put it at number 3. Would be number 1 in most years. Not much more to add to what I said in the Nilsson video. Really great acoustic guitar, brushed drums, great bass line, amazing strings. And again, I'll point to that final I Won't Let You Leave. High note is so good. Such an iconic moment. And yeah, I was sad not to put it number 1, but I kind of knew I was going to have to just wrestle with some things and to be able to order this top 3. So what can my number 2 be? My number 2 is I Shall Be Released by the Band, which, holy shit, this song is so good. It is, to me, one of Dylan's best written songs, taken to new heights by the greats of the band. Sharing the load to take each verse, such a genius move, lends well to, cover versions from bands and the live setting. Incredible harmonies in the chorus. Their voices together sound amazing. I actually think the Last Waltz version takes it to another level, but I still think the studio recording is fantastic. It's moving, it's poignant, it's defiant. It is one of the greatest songs of all time, and I will never get sick of it. But of course, my number 1 is Dear Prudence by the Beatles, which is my favorite Beatles song. Firmly changed my life. Probably a top 5 song of all time. John's fingerpick guitar is beautiful, as is his vocal. And what really sets this one apart for me, despite all their friction, is the band, minus Ringo. Sorry, Ringo. Paul plays drums on this. They all come together to form this really cohesive unit sound. It starts off with just John and the acoustic, and then Paul starts playing some root notes, and the drums come in, and the bass line gets a bit more complex, and then it gets more complex again. Just such an intricately crafted song. You get the look around, round section, and it feels like this song is building and building. Again, I mentioned this, I Can See for Miles. I love a song that sounds like it's about to burst, and that's exactly what you get when George Harrison's lead guitar's lines come in. The entire picture is complete. It's a spiritual experience for me. Sends me somewhere else, makes me feel like I'm flying. It's deeply moving, empathetic to the core is, I think, the thing I like the most about it. It's just the message of the song. It's not a love song. It's kind of like a platonic love song, I guess. It's like a love for a person that has nothing to do with relationships or anything. It's like wanting the best for somebody, and that makes it truly beautiful, in my opinion. And the Susie and the Banshees cover is not that great. So that's how I'm going to end my speech on that song.
Wow. Susie out here catching strays. Yeah, I don't know.
Top 5 song of all time, in maybe a top 10 year of all time. I don't know. We'll do that when we finish this.
Oh, geez, I hope not. Okay. Yeah, cool list. I think we do share a couple. Yeah, we share a couple. We'll get into it. My honorable mentions. All right. Look, I know. I dug this year. All right. I dug pretty deep. I had to. I had to do it. Nothing could stop me. My what 15 through 11, is that what I do? Yeah, I guess so. Number 15 will be I shit you not, Living in the Sunlight, Loving in the Moonlight by Tiny Tim, because That Which Bothers You Never Bothers Me. I know you're gonna meme, but this is peak 1968. Whether you like it or not, I swear to you, this is great. Okay, I gave this record a 3.5, and I highly recommend you check it out. It is phenomenal. He does a duet with himself. Yeah, as Sonny and Cher. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Check it out. Okay, number 14. On to more serious matters. I have Cocaine Blues by Johnny Cash, live at Folsom Prison. He played at prison. That's kind of cool. And the Lordy Lordy Have Mercy on Me. I love that. I love that track. That's a good one. Number 13 is another weird one. It's Pour Me Israelites by Desmond Decker. It's like a ska reggae tune. Just a great song to grill to, like grilling outside in the sun. Highly recommend it. Number 12, I'm going Ride My Seesaw by Moody Blues. Don't know. Your interpretation of that title is fine, I'm sure. Yeah, this album was a step down from the improbably good Days of Future Past, but this one was pretty fun. And number 11, I'm going with Everybody's Talking. Who is Harry Nelson? Anyway, so okay, that's honorable mentions. Check out Tiny Tim. I'm serious. I'm not even joking. All right, number 10. Look, it's 1968. I had to dig. All right, number 10. I'm going Crimson and Clover by Tommy James and the Shondells. Now, I know this is controversial because a lot of sources say this is 1969, but I'm here to tell you, Rate Your Music has it wrong. It's not the first time they've gotten anything wrong. I'm calling you out. Per the novel, Me, the Mob, and the Music, One Hell of a Ride with Tommy James and the Shondells, as written by the Tommy James himself, on page 185, he claims, and I quote, "The Crimson album was released just before Christmas '68. Vice President Hubert Humphrey wrote the liner notes." That's the vice president, not of the label company, of the United States of America, all right? He remembers when his record came out. Anyway, I love this track. It's very spacey, and like the tremolo effect on the guitar and the vocals, it's insane. It just goes so crazy and in context. And I highly recommend it if you're well, anyway. Okay, number 9. Number 9, I know this one, I sound like a broken record. I've been talking about it a lot. I'm going with Good to Me As I Am to You by Aretha Franklin. Yeah, just this was a great discovery for me. I could have picked Chain of Fools or, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, whatever. But this one is a full send, demanding respect. She's just demanding it. And she's erudite. She's so like well spoken, and Don't Darken My Front Door. Ooh, yeah, she's got pipes for the ages. Mad respect for Aretha Franklin here. Great year. Number 8. I'm going with Going Back by the Byrds. All right. I listened to 2 very acclaimed Byrds records. I had a pretty good time with them overall. They didn't make my top 5, but This song and a couple others, they'll be in rotation, and I'll be I'll be going back to them, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, that's number 8. Number 7, I'm going with Chest Fever by the Band. Oh yeah. The organ intro is so sick, and then it just breaks into this like relaxed groovy riff, and the drums are kind of like sparse but nice, and it's just impossible not to like just bob your head to and get into. And this was a standout on a record with standouts. So love Chest Fever. Okay, number 6. We're getting there. Number 6, I'm going Picture Book by the Kinks. This is a weird song. Yeah. Pretty odd, but it works, and it's so infectious. I just find myself kind of humming along to it. And so I could not include it. Great track from the Kinky Brothers. Number 5, I'm going with America by Simon and G Funk. Yeah, I mean, did you think I was gonna pick At the Zoo? No, America is a banger. When he hits you with how long it took him to hitchhike from Saginaw, you know you're in for it. And it comes together, just it's a fun story. It feels very passionate. Great poetry, great scene being set by these guys. Definitely my favorite on the record. America. It's an all-timer. But not as all-timer as these. Number 4, I'm going with Sitting on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding, the original Chill song. Yeah, Otis, it's such a relaxing song, and yet he sounds so pained. Like the story is so believable. He sounds hurt beyond his young years. And yeah, the thought of just like traveling because you got nothing going for you, and then realizing there's nothing on the other side, and at least you got a dock you can whistle on or something. I don't know, man. I feel bad, but I don't feel as bad as I do for Emily in A Rose for Emily by the Zombies, because she can't catch a goddamn break. Now, this song, of course, was based on the Faulkner short story, which I knew about for years. I definitely didn't Google it earlier today. I've known about this for a long time. But anyway, this is a beautiful, just a gorgeous pop song, and it's sad. It's it's beautiful. It's sad. It's everything you want. Um, it's a great track. It's my favorite from Odyssey and Oracle, and it's A Rose for Emily. She doesn't have one. Sorry. Number 2. Okay. All right. Number 2. I'm going with Happiness is a Warm Gun by the Beatles. Okay. I know I disrespect the White Album, but I don't think every song is trash. In fact, if the record were half as long as it was and every song was this good, I would love it. The fact is it's not. And yeah, don't say I didn't like anything from this record. Yeah, I know. But this song is great. I love the movements. It feels kind of jagged, but when you're listening to it, I don't know, it just takes me there, and I love it. It is infectious, and to me, it's the best. It's the best on this record. So, yeah, that's my number 2. So you'd be happy to hear that, Tom. I got that far with them. and my number 1, which I mean, this one's pretty obvious, right? It had to be All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix. Maybe the best cover of all time. I don't even know if I'm exaggerating. Just what an incredible reimagination. The guitar screams, soars. Jimi sounds great. I love. I've loved this song for a long time. I continue to love it. It does not get old for me. Easy win from me. All Along the Watchtower.
I got one
There you
right.
go.
I
There's
got one
1968.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 2 matches. So over to Vanessa to see if we can
Okay.
get a
Well,
trophy.
I'll have one with Chris with an exact spot, actually. That'll be interesting. But my honorable mentions, I didn't put in any order, so this is just a list. So I also have Merle Haggard and the Strangers and Mama Tried. Great song. And I have Loretta Lynn's Fist City, which if you have not heard it, you need to. The lyrics on this song are so fun. She's so feisty, and just the way she words it, you just got to hear it. It's awesome. My next one is No Expectations by the Rolling Stones. And then I have Fire by the Crazy World of Arthur Brown, which is possibly one of the best intros ever in history. I am the God of Hellfire. Love it. And then I have On the Road Again by Canned Heat, which a few of these were in my original list and fell off, but still great songs. So number 10 is Wicked Annabella by the Kinks. I just think it's a very cool song. It's a cool song for the time and in general. It's got this cool, dark, and slightly menacing vibe to it, but also like this bright, poppy tunefulness at the same time. It's really neat. And I just think it's like a really cool precursor to like what would be later called goth. Like, and the funny thing was when I listened to it, writing my notes today, Susie and the Banshees came on right after I played this song. So it's perfect. Title new. And that's our second mention of Susie and the Banshees in our 1968 video. Why not? Number 9 is Jimi Hendrix Experience and Voodoo Child's Slight Return. I just think it's undeniable right from the opening riff. It builds up in such a cool way. It's got this really interesting swirly sound that is accessible while also being slightly mysterious. And it always makes me think of hot summer days for whatever reason. And that is going to become a theme. I actually have a whole bunch of songs up ahead that all remind me of summer in some way, which I realized as I was compiling this list. I just think it's a song that you never forget once you hear it. It's just a great song. Number 8 is my Zombies pick, but I'm going with Beechwood Park. I think that it's a completely entrancing song, and it's overtaken all the other songs that were previously my favorites on the album. And funnily enough, it's another song that makes me think of lazy, hazy, hot summer days, which, I mean, it's meant to, but I think the music recalls the lyrics as well. I think it perfectly complements the imagery of the lyrics, and as do Colin's vocals on the song. He just sounds like he's having a wonderful hot summer day. Number 7 is Everybody's Talking. It's fantastically arranged. Nilsson's vocals are perfect. Another perfect song for summer. And I really just did not plan that, but when I was going through all these songs, they all made me think of summer. So I guess I'm ready for it. Harry didn't write this song, of course, but he owns it. Like, no, but I don't think anybody else could do it as well as him. It feels kind of like a hidden classic. It's like a song I've always known, but only recently I've come to truly appreciate it. So I think that's pretty cool. And number 6 is Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun by Pink Floyd. It's another song with a hazy, mysterious element to it. I think it has so many cool touches to the song that make it all come together. The drumming's really cool. I love those little chimes, the subtle guitar in the first half, the cool, creepy organ, the little seagull sounds, like everything about it is just great. It's more of a slow burn as a song, but it's just always been one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs. I just find it very engaging and cool. So it's number 6. Number 5 is Hickory Wind by the Byrds. Graham Parsons comes right out the gate swinging. His vocal performance here is so lovely and mournful. Everything about this song is perfection. That pedal steel is delicious and really highlights the sorrow of the song. Some great harmonies here too, of course. So just my favorite from that album. Number 4 is my Aretha pick, but I'm going with a different one. I'm going with Ain't No Way, which is quite possibly my favorite all-time Aretha song. Her vocal performance here is so engaging and perfect for the song and for the subject matter. You believe every word that she is singing. The band is fantastic here, letting her vocals take center stage. And the bridge especially is just amazing. The way that she sings that please, please, please part, like that desperation is just palpable. She's just amazing. Number 3, the band we haven't mentioned at all, but their album was pretty good this year. Cream with White Room. Just has such a cool opening. It takes its time to really get started, but the effect that it has where it kind of builds up with those ooh and then kicks in, it's just so cool, and how it keeps repeating that throughout the song. I just really think that's awesome. And I love how that it just propels the song forward. But the last instance where they do that closer to the end of the song and Clapton comes in with that really cool guitar, it just, I've always thought that part was really awesome. And it's always been one of my favorite Cream songs, and probably my favorite of their most well-known songs. Number 2 is Happiness is a Warm Gun by the Beatles. It's long been my favorite from the White Album, although I kind of doubted that a little bit this week. There's a lot of competitors, but I had to settle on something, so it made sense to go back to my favorite. And it's great. Like, that's not taking away from it. I absolutely love it. It's got, like a lot of my favorites this year, it's got a little bit of darkness to it, especially in that first half, but then it builds to that prettier refrain where he repeats happiness is a warm gun. And it's just perfect in a weird way. Like you were saying, like it shouldn't make sense, but it works really well. And I've just always loved that song. And my number 1 is Tears of Rage by the band. So Tom will get one more prediction right. Just the passion in this song is what puts it over the top for me. There's such a richness to everything here, from the musical arrangement to Richard Manuel's fantastic vocal performance. And the gospel elements are really what make this song work and makes you stop and pay attention to it. And it's always just such an emotionally affecting song for me. So that is my favorite of the year.
First year of no trifectas. Wow.
Oof.
That's probably a sign of things to come, I would guess. For what it's worth, Happiness is a Warm Gun is probably my third favorite on the White Album. I think it's perfect, but
just less perfect. Yeah,
it's a fair choice. Is the best one for sure. So that's us done with 1968. Thank God. So I'd have to see Chris's face again for another 2 weeks. No, it's fine. 1969 is next. We're going to go away and do a load of listening. Feel free to join along if you really want to, if you want to join us on this journey. I mean, it's only a week until the album's video comes out now, but from when you're seeing this, but why not? Yeah.
Just sleep, don't go to work.
You got time. Don't sleep.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Of course, 1969 albums will be next Saturday, then 1969 songs. Then we will do our 60s decade recap half decade, before going headfirst into the 70s, which I think all three of us are going to absolutely cherish. Like I said, I'm a little bit tired of all this Baroque pop and psychedelia and everything. I'm looking forward to some more variety coming in the 70s. So, yeah, I'm very excited for 1969 as well, because I feel like that's the first step into that 70s sound. Yeah, thanks very much for joining us, and hopefully we'll catch you this time next week for 1969.